All right, all right, all right. This is Louis George Walker and want to welcome everybody today to the BFTAA and More Show. I am your host here, and this is a product of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center. So we come together to form KUAW, Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Radio. We are now an internet radio media outlet. So we're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. We're on a couple of Facebook sites. We're also online on the radio sites, which is the TuneIn app, Get Me Radio, MyTuner.com, and online radio bot. So you can pick us up on there. You can pick us up on your Roku and Apple TV sticks and players. So we're all over the place. Search for KUAW Radio. Pick us up and you'll get some of the latest in community news, information. We'll also like to talk to you about things going on with technology. We're a STEM organization, that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. We'd like to bring all of that to you and try to give you some information of things happening where you can get your young people involved in technology and where you yourself can find technology training to improve your job outlooks and prospects, or to just be able to get along better with that computer at home or the smartphone or whatever it is that you're working with, because sometimes all of them can trip you up. And we've got some things that we'll talk about today. We started talking Saturday. I was on Carl Boyd's show, Wave Your Grades, and he mentioned identity theft on Facebook and other social media sites. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but we're working to put together a show that will have a little bit more on safety and talking about cyber crime so that you can be careful on the internet. But you should be armed and warned, but don't be afraid to get on the internet. It's like crossing the street. You have to look both ways before you go. Make sure that there's nothing coming. But that's the thing with it. We don't want to say you shouldn't be on the internet or that the internet is too dangerous for anybody to use. But it's like anything else. You have to learn how to use it wisely and try as best we can to be safe on it. Same way you do with answering calls on the telephone or the way you do in any arena of your life. So it's not that it's something to be avoided, but it's something to know what's going on. We also like to let you know that we are live and we're on Facebook. Anything that you post on Facebook will show on the screen, will be part of the chat that we have going on. So if you want to chat with me or you want to put something up there, be sure and do it. As you can see on there now, it says the live chat connection is established to KUAW Radio's main feed. So text it. I can read the information that you put up there. You can also, you can also go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube, you can go in the chat there. So if you go to KUAW Space Radio on YouTube, we can see what you're saying on there. I see Mildred is on there already. And if you want to join us in any form, we appreciate it. If you want to give us a call, 816-599-6893, you can give a call into the station and we'll talk to you about whatever it is that you'd like to talk about, especially if it's concerning technology. So what we do here every week when we're on, we like to bring you things that are going on with NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. We put their weekly broadcast of What's Up NASA on every week. Space to Ground we run every week. And then there's another NASA, This Week in NASA, that we put up. So we're going to show you the things that are going on in NASA. We're going to move forward with some of this identity theft, and then we'll go into some more things as it comes to working with technology in the community and how it affects us in the community. All right, so let's go into now what's happening this week at NASA. And they always say this week. What they really mean is last week at NASA. But that's all right. It gives you information that's going on. So here we go.
The Crew 3 astronauts returned from the space station. The spacecraft for another commercial crew mission is on the move and discussing NASA's budget. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. On May 5th, the astronauts of NASA's SpaceX Crew 3 mission closed out their time aboard the International Space Station. NASA astronauts Kayla Barron, Rasha Shari, and Tom Marshburn, along with European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer, undocked from the station aboard their Crew Dragon Endurance spacecraft to begin their return trip to Earth. They safely splashed down the next day off the coast of Florida to wrap up a nearly 6-month mission on the station, working with hundreds of experiments and technology demonstrations. On May 4th, teams moved Boeing's CST-100 Starliner spacecraft from the Commercial Crew and Cargo Processing Facility at our Kennedy Space Center to nearby Space Launch Complex 41 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. The move was in preparation for OFT-2, the company's second uncrewed orbital flight test to the International Space Station. Launch is targeted for May 19th atop a United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket. The test mission will demonstrate the Starliner system's human transport capabilities and is expected to be the last uncrewed flight before the Starliner launches American astronauts to the station. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson testified during a May 3rd Senate hearing about the President's fiscal year 2023 budget request for the agency. He pointed to commercial partnerships as a key reason the agency is able to achieve its goals while also getting the most value from the funding granted to it by Congress.
It's a new day. Government can't do it all. You all give us an X amount of money, and we've got to make that money happen the way that we're trying to achieve. And we can leverage that money by working with the commercial industry and through competition bring those costs down to NASA.
One of the coolest offerings we've made available this year for Black Hole Week is a visualization featuring details about the best-known black hole systems in our Milky Way galaxy and its neighbor, the Large Magellanic Cloud. The visualization presents 22 X-ray binary systems that host confirmed black holes. They are depicted as seen from Earth with their orbital motions sped up faster than normal. You can check it out along with lots of other black hole features at nasa.gov/black-holes. A new NASA climate simulation suggests that extremely large volcanic eruptions, called flood basalt eruptions, might significantly warm our climate and devastate the ozone layer that helps protect life on Earth from the sun's ultraviolet radiation. This contradicts previous studies indicating that these volcanoes cool the climate. The study also suggests that extensive flood basalt eruptions may have not only helped warm the climates of Mars and Venus too, but could have also doomed the long-term habitability of those planets by contributing to water loss. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
All right. Yeah, that's a little bit about what's up this week at NASA. And I hope you took note of the fact of that testimony that was going on and the talk of using the commercial companies to help with what they're doing in space. So it's no longer just the government that's sending, it's not just the United States that are sending rockets to the moon or to Mars or just to the space station. It is now the United States and companies, Boeing, SpaceX, other companies that are involved in helping to finance, develop, and do some of the research into going up into space. And they're doing this as they're making money from the government for it, but they're also looking at the future and what's in store, what's going to be in store there, that going to the moon may be a big commercial boon for some companies that are in on the ground floor of it, or for a lot of companies as it develops. So those are some of the reasons that you're now hearing of these private companies working in partnership with the government. And it's not that it's all bad. I mean, the government has always sponsored a lot of things. I think I mentioned this last week, is that the internet was a development of the Department of Defense working with universities and research departments in technology to come up with a more robust communication system than the old circuit-based phone system that we had. I worked for the phone company, and our lines were good. They stayed up. It was pretty robust, but it was what they called a circuit connection from one end to another, to where they basically had a wire and different connections to get you from one end to the other of that call, and any break in that wire would stop the call, because it was two wires leaving from the phone, going through central offices, going all the way from Kansas City to Chicago, and you could actually break that line at any place, that connection, and it would drop the call. Now, they did have some multiplexing where we were able to put 24 and 48 calls on 4 wires, but for the most part, it was all connected from end to end. The new way of talking, and a lot of you have IP phones now at your homes. There's the circuit-based connections are dropping, and the phone companies trying to get out of that industry, or using that technology for voice. Voice is being used over data, just like your computers, that go to a lot of different computers and servers before it gets to an endpoint. And if one of those servers dies, it doesn't kill your conversation. Your conversation can be rerouted to another one, another server automatically. If there's trouble, it just keeps it up. So that was a partnership of the government to help the Department of Defense and universities with education, and it ended up being something big for everybody. So having the government working with colleges, with schools, and all of that is what's been being done, and it can help us. So now we're through with going up into space on that. Let's take a look now at the next phase, is space to ground. So we have an orbiting space station up there, up in space, orbiting constantly. It's been real fantastic things. When I was young, you would have said it was real science fiction, that you'd have people living in space for months and on a space station that we have now, and we don't even take notice of it. Some people may not even know it's up there. It was a thing that would have been fantastic in 1960, but now we're used to the space station being up there. You hear about it on the news, or somebody went up and came down, and we don't think anything of it, but it is still a very dangerous thing, or not very dangerous, but it is dangerous. You got to be serious about what you're doing. And that space station is a bubble up in space that if it gets damaged, those people can be in a world of trouble, because it's not easy to get help to you once you're that far away. But let's see what's going on Space to Ground this week. Or this is What's Up NASA. Sorry about that. What's in the sky?
To find Mercury about 10 degrees off the horizon, accompanied by a slim crescent moon. Just to the south of the moon is brilliant red giant star Aldebaran, which should be roughly the same brightness as Mercury. And by the way, this is the only chance to spot a naked eye planet in the early evening until August. Then in the last week of May, you can watch each morning as Jupiter and Mars get increasingly close in the pre-dawn sky. Their morning meetup culminates in a close conjunction that you can watch on the 28th through the 30th, where they'll be separated by barely the width of the full moon. Should look incredible with binoculars, where you can also see Jupiter's largest moons. Skywatchers in the Western Hemisphere can look forward to a total lunar eclipse in mid-May. The event will be visible across the Americas, Europe, and Africa, basically anywhere the moon is visible above the horizon at the time. The visible part of the eclipse begins about 10:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time on May 15th, with totality starting an hour later and lasting for about an hour and a half. Those in the eastern U.S. will see the eclipse start with the moon well above the horizon. For the central U.S., the eclipse starts about an hour and a half after dark, with the moon relatively low in the sky. On the west coast of the U.S., the moon rises with totality beginning or already underway, so you'll want to find a clear view toward the southeast if viewing from there. Now, lunar eclipses are the ones that are safe to look at directly with your eyes or binoculars or a telescope, unlike solar eclipses. The moon takes on a dim, reddish hue during the period of totality. Even though the moon is fully immersed in Earth's shadow at that time, red wavelengths of sunlight filter through Earth's atmosphere and fall onto the moon's surface. One way to think of this is that a total lunar eclipse shows us a projection of all the sunrises and sunsets happening on the planet at that moment. So check your local details for this eclipse and find lots more eclipse info from NASA at the address on your screen. Finally in May, a really nice target for binoculars, the KUAW star cluster. This loose, open star cluster displays 40 or 50 stars spread over a region of sky about 3 finger widths wide. The brightest stars in the cluster form a distinctive Y shape as seen here. The KUAW star cluster is located about 300 light-years away, making it the second closest open cluster to Earth after the Hyades cluster in Taurus. To find the KUAW star cluster, look southward for the constellation Leo. It can be easiest to start from the Big Dipper toward the north and use the 2 pointer stars on the end, which always point you toward Leo. Once you've identified Leo, the KUAW star cluster is about 15 degrees to the east of the triangle of stars representing the lion's hindquarters. It's relatively easy to find with binoculars, even under light-polluted urban skies, as long as it's clear out. So here's wishing you clear skies for finding the KUAW star cluster and any other wonders you discover in the night sky in May. Here are the phases of the moon for May. Stay up to date with all of NASA's missions to explore the solar system and beyond at nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
All right. Yeah, it's good to see. That was what's up. I was going to say we were supposed to be showing you space to ground, but I clicked the wrong button, and you saw that one out of turn. So we'll turn around now and go back to space to ground. Sorry about that confusion there, but it was good to see. So now let's watch space to ground. I'll get out of your way.
Houston Station on Space to Ground. Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Nilofer Ramji. A change of command, 4 astronauts returning home, and a very happy Black Hole Week 2022. Space station crews and science are front and center this week.
And I relinquish control of command of the space station to you.
I accept command.
Expedition 67 Commander Tom Marshburn handed over station control to Roscosmos flight engineer Oleg Artemyev, where 9 of the space station's flight engineers witnessed the ceremonial tradition. Artemyev, who was on his 3rd space station mission, took command of the space station until late this summer. With SpaceX Crew 4 astronauts now in place aboard the space station, Crew 3 has splashed down off the coast of Florida. NASA astronauts Tom Marshburn, Raja Shari, and Kayla Barron, alongside European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer, packed up and prepared for their return to Earth. Crew 3 boarded the SpaceX Crew Dragon Endurance and undocked from the Harmony module's forward port, ending their stay on space station. Shari commanded the ride back home as the foursome parachuted to a splashdown off the coast of Florida about a day after they undocked. NASA is celebrating the phenomena of black holes this week. By using X-ray echoes, scientists have mapped the environments of black holes as they feed on stellar gas. Thanks to NASA's Neutron Star Interior Composition Explorer, or NICER, and a team led by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they have mapped 10 such systems, helping us understand how black holes evolve during an outburst. NICER was designed to gather data about neutron stars, but it has been proven to advance technologies and improve communication that will affect the next generation of human spaceflight, taking us deeper into space than we ever thought possible. The technology from NICER is being translated to the medical field to save human lives. Find out more about how a design from a stargazing experiment could enhance detecting disease and injuries by tuning in to this week's episode of Houston We Have a Podcast. You can find it by going to nasa.gov/podcasts. Houston We Have a Podcast, along with the full library of NASA podcasts, are also available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. That's Spacetogram for this week. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
All right. Yeah, Space to Ground. That's NASA.
Subscribe
We
for more
appreciate
space.
all that they show us and all that we learn from them. Hey, well, one thing I did want to talk to you about is we change stories a little bit, or change it a little bit. Want to talk about cybercrime and a little bit of it. One of the things that we look back, one of the problems we have with the internet, which is a good tool, is that the thieves have found out about it too. And if you haven't been tripped up or tricked up, thank your lucky stars. That's all we can say on that. But since 2018, the cost of global cybercrime reached over $1 trillion. We estimated the monetary loss of cybercrime at approximately $945 billion. Added to this was the global spending on cybersecurity to stop the loss, which is expected to exceed $145 billion in 2020. Today, this is $1 trillion tag. This $1 trillion is a drag on the global economy. So that's how much money is tied up. And these are all estimates, but they're saying that approximately $945 billion has been lost to cybercrime, and then we've spent another $145 billion trying to stop the criminals. So it's definitely a lot of money gone away on something ever. So the cost of cybercrime is high. You may get calls, phishing calls. People call. That was on the news here in Kansas City saying that they've detected something wrong in your computer. We've had that happen in our household, that they'll say that they've detected something wrong in your computer and they can fix it. And the thing you have to look at, one, is what is somebody doing detecting something wrong in your computer and you haven't even told anybody to look in it. But they'll call and say, we're Microsoft, or we're Google, or we're whoever your internet service provider is and stuff, and we've detected something wrong. So then you're saying, oh, well, maybe it's true, but no, Google and all of them don't call you. If they say they've detected something wrong, say, okay, thank you. Stop the call, stop the conversation online, and then you can turn around and call Google or Facebook or Microsoft and see if there's something that's going on. But don't continue the conversation with someone who just called you saying that they have found something wrong in your computer or found something wrong with your account at your bank or anything like that. Stop the call, then you call your bank and ask them if they found something wrong or something like that. Don't work with somebody that just calls you out of the clear blue sky telling you've got a problem. That's just not the way generally that things work. So be real careful of it. But one thing I've been noticing is that you get a lot of people that impersonate other people on Facebook, especially on Facebook. They may be on others. I'm on Facebook more than I am the other sites like Instagram. I'm not even on TikTok yet. Twitter I'm on, but I'm not on it a lot. But I am on Facebook a lot. And like they say, Facebook has 500 million users. 500 million. But are they all real users? Because do you get friends requests from somebody you already friends with? Chances are that's a hacker. That's somebody that is impersonating your friend. They've got into their account. They'll put their picture up on there, and they ask you to sign on. And you may see some of your other friends that have already been caught up in it and signed on. And they're saying that they're friends with this person again. You don't have to join and be friends with people twice, 2 or 3 or 4 times. If you're friends, you're friends. And you shouldn't even be getting a friend request from them. So sometimes if you see a friend request from somebody that you know you've already been friends with on the internet, on Facebook, that y'all talk or send pictures back and forth or what have you, then that's probably a scam. If you're the person, and I've had this happen to me, that people have called me up and said, hey, I got a friend request from you. And it's like, I haven't sent out any friend requests. They say, well, I thought it was something wrong with it, but I saw it. What you need to do if you find that somebody is impersonating you, and this is one thing that they say, is log into your account and search for that account. If you can get to that account, that other, whoever your name is and stuff, if you get to it, then you can go in the upper right-hand corner of your screen between your name and the logout link, and there's some three dots. And if you click on those, you can report that site, report it as bad. Go to the help center, hacked accounts and scams, look for that as one way, and then describe the situation that best describe, or the link that best describes your situation. So there's ways that you can get in and report this. So report it to Facebook, report the site, and go into the help of Facebook and find out, tell them your account's been hacked. Somebody's in there. Sometimes they'll get in there into your account, change your password. You can't get in it. And that's somebody that has hacked your account. So definitely report those. Don't just open up a new account, or don't just stop using Facebook because of that. Report it. Let them work to get them out of there, so that we need to report as many of these fake accounts as we can. And if you call a friend and they say that it's a fake account, report that account, that person's account's been hacked, so that we can get rid of a lot of these imposters on there. And who knows, of the 500 million on there, you might have 50 million or 100 million that are duplicates of other people. And Facebook, with 500 million users, some of those, because I know when birthdays pop up, I see the same person 2 or 3 times with the birthday, and I say, well, how many accounts do they have? And that's, just the way people have been early on, especially in Facebook. You log in or create an account, then turn around and create another account because you forgot that account, and you got 2 or 3 accounts on there. Get rid of some of them extra accounts if you're not using them. If you've signed in 2 or 3 times or made 2 or 3 accounts, especially if at that time you didn't really understand what was going on, you can get rid of a couple of your accounts and save it to the one. That way you don't miss messages, because if you got 3 accounts up there, people may be trying to get in touch with you on an account that you don't look at much anymore. So you need to go ahead and get rid of that account, so you make sure you get all your messages and people can get in touch with you. Might be something important. But we definitely want to be aware of cybersecurity and work on it. And we're going to be working with Carl Boyd and the Wave Your Grades show to come up with a program that we'll do that'll be dedicated to cybersecurity, to the hacking. So we're going to get some other people in the city that are more knowledgeable of it, that they can come on, and we'll set up a panel and maybe talk about the cybersecurity and how you can protect yourself. Because as everyday home users, a lot of times we don't know where to go to find out. So if we can bring some of the people on that work with this, they can give you some information that may be helpful and can alleviate some of your fears. Because some people don't get on the internet because they're scared of it. And it's, if you don't know, then yeah, you're going to be scared of it. It's not unreasonable to be scared of something that you don't quite understand. So we want to help eliminate that, especially with people like me that might be past 21 by a few times, 3 or 4 times, 3 times anyway, not 4. But yeah, you may be a few times past 21, and getting into this internet thing, getting into this Facebook thing is a little bit intimidating. But you shouldn't be scared of it. It's something that we should work with, especially as seniors in the community. You want to stay up on it, not just to say that you know and that you're hip, but that it can be used to help you extend your life. There's some things that you can be missing out on that you don't know, some information that you could be getting that could be very beneficial with you, even being able to communicate with your doctors and the hospitals and see your test results and stuff online, that can be beneficial for you. So we're going to do a panel. We're going to work with that and try and bring you up to date. one of the things it says, and I was reading this article. Let me see where this came from, because I like to give credit where credit is due. Now I don't remember where I pulled this down off of. Okay. I'm going to have to start jotting it down when I pull it down. I think I've got this off of, well, I don't want to give credit where it's not due, so I won't tell you where I got it from. Not sure, okay? But it's not mine. I didn't think of this. This is the story from someone else. And they may tell me as it gets in the story, but it says, 2 new studies have revealed that while there has been an increase in the use of high-tech radiation cancer treatment called proton beam therapy, black patients are getting it far less often than their white counterparts. Proton beam therapy, which is called PBT, uses protons to deliver high-energy beams more precisely to tumors and to reportedly reduce the damage to surrounding healthy tissue. It's also reported to be better than traditional radiation therapy for tumors with complex anatomy. So that's a thing that, we want to make sure that we're up on too. The technology is getting better, but do the doctors recommend it for us? However, this issue with PBT is that it's expensive and the treatment's efficiency is still under investigation. To assess PBT's use in the United States, researchers analyzed data on nearly 6 million patients in the National Cancer Database, and they found that the overall use of PBT for newly diagnosed cancers rose from 0.4% in 2004 to 1.2% in 2018. That's not a big usage by any stretch, but that still could be thousands of people. The study also found that black patients were less likely to be treated with PBT than white patients, 0.3% versus 0.5%, especially for cancers for which PBT is recommended over traditional therapy. In fact, this racial disparity widened as the number of facilities offering PBT increased. The disparity did not disappear after the researchers accounted for socioeconomic status or type of health insurance, according to the report. So even black people with health insurance that had money weren't being offered this. The studies were published in the Journal of American Medicine, JAMA Network Open, where you can find more information. We found that PBT use increased nationally between 2004 and 2018 for all eligible cancers, especially for cancers for which PBT is the recommended treatment. And that's from Leticia Nguyen, lead author of both studies. She is a senior principal scientist, health services research at the American Cancer Society. Especially concerning, however, was our finding also showed racial disparities increased as the availability of PBT increased in the U.S. Our findings unfortunately highlight the fact that black patients continue to benefit less from advances in medicine like PBT, even with increased availability of recommended treatment modalities, Noriega said. Efforts other than increasing the number of facilities that provide PBT will be needed to eliminate these disparities. So that's something that we have to look at, is that we have health disparities, and that's not anything new in our community or in the United States, that there are health disparities because of the life expectancy in the African American community, in Mexican or Latina communities, in white communities, that there's a different life expectancy in a lot of these communities because of disparities in getting the same treatment, getting the same medicine, getting the benefits of like new procedures. And as I said, even when they accounted for insurance and socioeconomic conditions, they saw disparities. So sometimes you're not being told about it even if you could pay for it. And that comes to a point of not just, as she said, not just having more of these facilities around, because that just may be more people that don't get it, as the fact that there's got to be some other changes There's got to be some changes in mindsets and people's attitudes of offering the services to everybody equally. That's something that just isn't happening. I don't know that it's on purpose, if it's by accident, if it's a built-in or systemic racial bias. We don't know, but there's more studies need to be done on it, because as you have gaps of 10 years in life expectancy between black and white people or more, then that is a problem. Because I don't think any of us want to leave here early, or if there was a way that we could stay. And a lot of black people are eating better now. They're taking care of themselves. They're vegans. They're doing yoga and exercises and all of that. So there's a lot going on with these disparities that doesn't have to do necessarily with lifestyle, as they would like to say a lot of times. Well, it's about the lifestyle. It's not all about diet. Some of it is about people not getting the treatments that they need. So as we look at technology, and as technology improves, the one thing that technology can't do is eliminate racial bias. So that is there. So we can improve our technology. We can work in STEM, and that is a good thing that we all should be doing. But we've got to do some other things that aren't technology related. It's person to person. It's face to face. We have to start talking to each other. We have to start asking those hard questions and having, as they say in that one show, those uncomfortable conversations, that we can start looking at what's going on. What keeps, why do some of these disparities continue? We've been years of knowing that the disparities are there, but it's eliminating them that becomes a hard problem. It's just like with racial biases. It's not something new. It's not something that's unheard of. It's not something that people say, we didn't know about that. They used to could say that, but they can't say it now. It's been 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years that we know that there's racial biases in hiring and in job promotions and things like that. What we haven't figured out is how to eliminate it. And I don't think technology is going to be a way of doing it. It may have some part to play and a little help, but I think we're going to have to work on it as a person-to-person thing. So we're going to talk about that in the future. That may be another panel that we want to get going at the BFTAA and More show. We also want to let you know we're having a meeting. The Black Family Technology Awareness Association will have a Zoom meeting this Saturday at 11 a.m. If you would like to join, send us a message on Facebook or an email, and we'll send you the link. We're on Facebook at BFT or Black Family Technology Awareness Association -BFTAA. So if you put in BFTAA or Black Family Technology Awareness Association, you should be able to get us on Facebook. Send us a message on that. Let us know that you'd like to be invited to our monthly meeting. We can do that. We don't discriminate anybody, any race, creed, color, national origin, sexual orientation, all of that. Contact the Black Family Technology Awareness Association if you want to be a part. And we're having a meeting this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central Time. You can also email us if you want to get the link for the meeting. It's at BFTAA@gmail.com. No, at sbcglobal.com. I'm sorry. BFTAA@sbcglobal.com. Our radio stations is KUAW985@gmail.com. But either one of those, if you send us an email, I'll get them or somebody will get them, and we can send you the link that you can join our meeting. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for people that would like to be involved in helping to eliminate the digital divide that exists in the African American and the other communities of color around this country, and especially in the Kansas City area. So if you'd like to be a help, if you'd like to find out what we're doing and how you can be a part of it, get in touch with us and join our Zoom meeting this Saturday at 11 a.m. we'll be glad to have you. We're working on our home. We're in partnership with the WEB Du Bois Learning Center as their technical services provider. And we're working on establishing a new robotics lab for our kids for doing the robotics competition. So we're going to be making plans to work on that this summer so that we start the next school year off with a well-equipped robotics lab that'll be a good place for kids to work on Lego and to work on our VEX robotics. So we want to have that facility together, and you can start working with us this summer as we do it, because school will be starting in August pretty soon, and we've got work to do. So they're doing some work rehabbing the building that we're in here at 4510 East Linwood Boulevard, and our part of rehab is going to be fixing up the robotics and technology side of the business. So we're going to be here helping to get a lab that BFTAA will maintain with the WEB Du Bois Learning Center that'll be for robotics competition, and not just VEX and Lego. We're wanting to expand into drone racing and some of the other technical projects that kids can work on that are fun and learning for them. We even want to do some coding here. So we want to bring as much technology into this location as possible. The 3D printing, all of that type of stuff is what we want to have. We want to have those technologies that kids that come to the WB Du Bois Learning Center right here at 4510 East Linwood Boulevard in the heart of the city will be able to get some of the latest technology. We'll be able to see, play with, touch, build, learn, not just to look at, but to actually get their hands in there and start developing. So get in touch with us. We'd like to have you come to the meeting. We'll send you the link to our Zoom meeting. All you got to do is hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Twitch, send up smoke signals, however you can get in touch and get started with us, because school's out. We're getting ready, or school will be out soon. We've got some work that we're doing with the Guadalupe Center that's going to finish May the 20th, but we want to spend our summer really getting things ready for the school year that's coming up. We also want to get involved with the Juneteenth and celebration and have a table down there. So those are a couple of things that we're working on at the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. We hope that you would join us and become a part of it. It's fun. You'll meet a lot of good, interesting people. It's a great networking place, and you'll be giving back to the community, helping that next generation move forward. So get in touch with us. You can email us, bftaa@sbcglobal.net, or hit us up on Facebook at Black Family Technology Awareness Association, or on Twitter at BFTAA. Any of those, just send a message that you would like to have a link to the meeting that's going to be going on this Saturday on Zoom. Yeah, it's going to be a Zoom meeting. So that's going to be Saturday the 14th at 11 a.m. All right, so that's my show for today. I'm glad that you were here, glad that you took some time to join with us. I hope that you will continue to be a part of the BFTAA and More show and the other shows that are on KUAW Radio. We just had the Comedy Power Hour with Janelle Banks, one of Kansas City's top-rated comedians, and she just got through from 3 to 4. So there's a lot of different shows on KUAW. Check them out. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're everywhere. And listen to us 24 hours a day online on the TuneIn app, on my Tuner, the online radio bot, on Get Me Radio. Go to any of those pages and you can hear some of our old school music, some smooth jazz, some blues. Yeah, we got all of that right here at KUAW 24/7. All right, have a good day. We will be in touch and talk to you next Monday on the BFTAA and More show. Bye-bye now.